Where are you located, Joseph? In
Toronto.
Toronto. Great.
Our staff is, at least in the Ontario region, is across Ontario and Ottawa right now, but everyone else is everywhere else.
Oh, hi, Mercedes.
All right.
Oh.
Hello,
Hi.
good morning.
Good morning. Nice to meet you.
You too. And Carlos, I think we've probably met many years ago when I was still working at that affordable housing office with Sean Gadden. And Anna was still a city councilor for us.
Right. Yeah, we've done a lot. Were we doing Western Road? That was a senior building, 125 units.
Yeah, your name sounds very familiar, so I was like, I'm pretty sure our paths have crossed.
Yeah, great. Yeah, no, and we also had that other one. We first looked at doing the container, remember?
Yeah?
Yeah, but then the building people at the city of Toronto, they had all kinds of issues with it.
And I think they still do.
Yeah, maybe they should take a trip to New York.
There's so many different models right now. We're going to talk to you a little bit about our modern methods of construction and what we're doing with the modular build. So
right.
I think we've come a long way, and I think the industry has come a long way as well.
Yeah, and but modular is interesting because in a tight city with small streets in Toronto, it's very difficult to work.
Yeah.
And that's where I think the industrialized method that we're going to talk about anyway. Do you guys have an agenda, any way you want to go? Because somewhere along the line we'd like to give you feedback also. It's where we are on Five Night and what we've done so far.
So we wanted to set up this time to first of all say hi, introduce ourselves so that you know who's at Build Canada Homes looking at your proposals. And really use this opportunity to kind of get to know you a little bit better, the proposal a little bit better. If you have some questions about the proposal, we just want to make sure we have a really good understanding of the proposal. And it's always easier and also, to be honest, better to have these conversations rather than us just looking at your documents and assume that we understand your proposal. We want to have this opportunity for you to give us a little bit of a flavor about and the color behind the proposal, and also any updates, as you said, Carlos, to make sure that we know where the project is at. And we can also kind of share some feedback around what BCH does and doesn't do, what's kind of in the scope and out of scope for us based on where we are today, and then see where we can go from here.
Excellent. Yeah, that sounds excellent. Yeah. How much time do you guys have? Because we open.
I think we set this up for 45 minutes, so let's start there.
Okay.
And, but we'll give it over to you to give us a little bit overview of your proposal.
I can start with giving you an update of Five Night, because that will really flow into the proposal, if that's okay with you. So how do I share screen?
Here, I'll show you. This one, share. So you see this red bar?
Yeah.
They see everything in the red bar, so they'll see the whole screen
okay.
right now.
So on the left side, I have the schedule for Five Night, and we are exactly on schedule. We started week 16, which was April, and a month ago, I don't have new drone shots, but so this project is 100% as of right. There were no variances. There was nothing. What people that live here, they are what we call a Joe and a Maria, and they obviously can't afford to live in Toronto anymore. So we did, maybe to really quickly in 5 minutes. I can take you. I don't know if you've seen this video.
They won't be able to hear the audio, unfortunately.
No?
No, I don't think so. You can try though.
There was a sad little couple.
Can you hear?
We can't hear now.
No.
But
okay.
if you send us the link, we're happy to take a look at it.
We have it in the submission.
Oh, okay, great, okay. So that explains how we deal with them. So essentially, this lot would be worth about $1 million on the open market as a residential lot. We look at it as a commercial lot now because it's 6 units. So 7 units. So we reevaluated it at 2,450,000, which that then turns into their equity. We then building this for 6 million turnkey. That's with furniture, the works, absolutely
Permitting, everything.
Absolutely everything. Plus, we move them into one of our properties where they live free. That's included in the construction cost. And you're welcome to interview these people as well. So once construction is done, they move back. They move back at the affordable rent of $1,350 a month.
Yeah.
And we have a commitment with CMHC between 10 and 20 years, depending on the project. So every project we do, there's always that element of the affordable housing. And the affordability for us is 30% of the average income in Toronto, which is works out to $1,350 a month, which is very, very good. Now, with the 50 amortization through CMHC, that's what enables us to have one large unit. For example, the garden suite has got 1,800 square feet.
Yep, very nice 2-bedroom. It even has an elevator inside of it.
For handicap, it's fully handicap accessible. Then we have 6 units in the front, where there's 2-bedroom units at 700 square feet roughly. I speak under correction, and then we have units with 3 bedrooms with 1,500 square feet each. So these are all very large units. So the CMHC proposal, we already have the appraisals. We have it's just in the final proposal stage, it's in the final approval stage, and according to CMLS, we're going to be able to do about a $5 million takeout. So what happens is very simple. The cost was $6,125,000.
Yeah.
So at the end of the day, their equity. So we needed about $3,500,000 and something in equity. So their equity becomes the land, which was paid for already. And they had a $100,000 mortgage. We took it out, we paid it so that we could be in first place.
Yeah.
We've been doing our own construction financing. We're not using CMHC for construction financing. The reason we cannot use financing through CMHC or anybody else, it's because it would delay us. We are very, very fast at construction.
Yeah.
So the draws alone would just take longer than it takes us to build this. And in the future, we're looking at building this in about 3 months from start to finish, and we will explain to you how we're doing that. And that's also an offshoot of this project. Keep in mind that we've already done 3 projects like this. We started doing this way before the bylaws changed, and we've invested a good $18 million of our own money into all of this. So we've developed a system, very much like the modular system that you have. We have an industrialized system for this now. That's why we're able to go with extremely high quality. Our windows, for example, are triple glazed. Our energy efficiency is outstanding. We have our last project, we generate 15 kilograms of carbon per person per year, whereas a normal home, even a new home, you're looking at about 3 tons of carbon per person per year. So we've really hit all the spots. So, energy efficiency, affordability,
and gentrification.
Gentrification. So now these people will be able to stay where they've always lived for the last 40 years, and still there will be a little bit cash flow left over. So they will actually have a little more income than they had before.
Yeah, and when we spoke to this particular homeowner, their initial plan was to sell the property and then to move into a long-term care facility. And they genuinely did not want to do that. Their dream was this, to live in their garden suite with the 6 units in the front.
So that garden suite, which is really worth about $5,000-6,000 in rent, they're going to get it for $1,350, and we can still make everything work with a $5 million loan, CMH CMLI Select. We can still cash flow positive, and we are right behind the hospital there, so there's already a lot of interest from doctors and nurses. So we plan to be ready by Q4. So everything we told you in our proposal is happening. We're right on schedule, as you can see over here. So then the next thing is we talked about, well, since we've already financed this ourselves, we're using our own capital to finance this, so in order to be able to move fast. We'd also like to invite you to come and see this at your convenience. We would invite you to come and see our other projects at your convenience. For example, at 21 Batavia, our units are 1,500 square feet, 3 bedrooms.
Yeah, they're beautiful.
So we're not doing little
No, they're large,
boxes in the
comfortable.
sky. There's always street parking. We always look for areas where we have very high walk score and transit scores. Those are the criteria. We actually developed the tool now that we can go into the city's
Public
database and extract exactly lots that are suitable for this. Suitable meaning not just size but location.
Yeah.
Then the next step we do is we also, through the lawyers, we go and see what is the mortgage status on all of these. That tells us if they are older people or not. And then we approach them with this. So there's about 480,000 properties in the 6 wards
Yeah.
that allow us to do this as of right. We have models for lots, 30-foot models, 35, 40, 45, and 50. When I say models, I mean we are using Canadian cement board sandwiched with, this was actually invented in Alberta in 2005. So I'll show you a quick picture here.
It's structural insulated panels, if you're familiar with what those are. But instead of being OSB, it's made with
fiber cement board.
Yeah, which is
combustible.
Exactly.
And the other thing too is we're doing it so that the setbacks are such that we don't need to go for variances. We don't need the 12-meter height allows us to build without the basement as well. Thus removing a lot of cost
and time.
And this is really built on, we have triple glazed windows.
Energy Star windows too.
Energy Star windows, but triple glazed. Our inside is really airtight.
Very airtight.
So this is the difference between bringing in a modular factory-built unit versus this. This is like a Lego piece. So the panels come pre-cut already from in this case would be from Alberta, and then everything is marked up. This is like Lego. So I can tell you, like from 3 windows, we make 840,000 configurations. So in the end, the backbone is a standard product, much like a modular unit, but then the front elevation is always to suit the streetscape. This is the only part where this becomes art.
Yeah.
Right. So
when we're talking about maintaining the charm of like a local community, that's the sort of opportunity where we can make it look and fit comfortably in the neighborhood.
This is all built to 9 on the Richter scale, just so to give you an idea. This thing, and we have tests, we've seen it. You can shake the hell out of this, it doesn't fall apart. It's actually very, very strong. So it's not, this is, because people think, generally people in the old mindset, they will look at this and say, oh, this looks like garbage. It's not. This is actually much better than today's materials. 100%. Like I would build a luxury home in Oakville using this, no problem. So we will create. We're already creating the first model based on 5 Night, which is for a 30-foot lot, and then we will have. So if you can imagine, it's always 19 meters deep, so that doesn't change. What changes then is the width of the building, and the
Yeah.
wider we go, the larger the units become. And really, when we're talking larger units, we're talking the same kitchens, the same bathrooms. So the expensive part of the build is already there. So once we go with larger units, you're just getting a lot of more large space in terms of bedrooms and living space, but that is cheap stuff. That's not expensive. So what with this, we're talking about from start to finish. Imagine we get a bulldozer on site. We clean the lot. That's a day's work, 2 days work maximum. Then we put in the piles, the helical piles. We do the supporting walls. We do the services, water, gas, electricity. That in 1 week we've done all that. Then this comes in. This you're doing 1 story a day. Now think. You don't have drywall and taping anymore. You don't have insulation anymore. You have a fully finished exterior and interior, which you then can just tape the seams. And on the exterior, we're looking at materials that are again stone, but it's stone that you can actually just plaster into. So it looks really beautiful, modern, but it's not expensive and it's not very labor intensive. Our target is really 3 months to have from start to finish. We start, 3 months later, we can have tenants in there. And of course, we've done many other projects, very similar. So not with SIPS. SIPS is the result of 5 Night. 5 Night is really the R&D project that brought this into being. 5 Night, we're doing it in 5 months. And we will show you that. Very easy to verify. You see when we started.
Yeah, our notice of project and then occupancy.
And then occupancy. That's very easy to verify. We've done 17 lottery homes for the Princess Margaret. The reason they came to us is because I think we're very organized. We're
reliable.
Reliable. We produce them in 5 months, 6 months.
And we're getting faster and faster every project.
So we do use Six Sigma, for example. I don't know if you're familiar with that. So we really use a manufacturing approach to this. Although we can't bring this fully built into a city that's got wires and everything. So really, once we have these models, we can get them engineer stamped, which means when we go for a permit, we're just putting this on a site plan, and our permitting should be very, very quick. That's the other aspect. Mm-hmm. So this is really the outcome of 5 Night. How our proposal is we have the manpower. We can do as many of these. Honestly, this is like a Lego set. If you can read English, if you can't, we can translate it to whatever language in AI. This will be 100%. We can just go in a place, bring people that are not even very skilled.
Yeah.
We can train them very quickly because the companies in Alberta actually have teams that can train unqualified people. The only qualified people we need here are electricians, plumbers.
And HVAC.
And that's it. And
yeah.
those we have enough. So if you ask us how many can you do of these, Carlos, well, that depends how much money we can get for construction finance.
And how many lots?
Well, the lots is easy.
Yeah.
You go knock on doors, and we're also working on those. We are actually looking for salespeople that are going to go and talk to all these older folks.
Yeah.
So really, we're addressing gentrification. We're addressing affordable housing. We're addressing very modern ways of construction
And energy efficient
and,
buildings.
energy efficiency.
And carbon footprint. It also has a lower carbon footprint.
Yeah, so if we were gonna say, okay, we don't have financing through a bank for construction or through CMHC, it's off the table. Our 3 months will end up being 9 months because
Easily.
for you to do a draw, it's gonna take a month. It's gonna take
There's back and forth.
There's
There's
back-
2 weeks. There's
it's-
meetings.
It's very inefficient. It's very expensive. You've got to pay a quantity surveyor, whatever. What we do here is we have a CCDC2 contract.
Fixed price.
It's fixed price. If we go over the cost, we bite the cost. If we are under, it's our business, and that's how we work it. So that's it in a nutshell. So I don't know how this would fit within your parameters.
Yeah, that's very helpful. Thank you. And if you want to bring down the slide so that we can see each other, we can have a conversation. But this is very helpful, and that's why we have these calls to make sure that we have
Right.
a good understanding of the concept and the proposal.
Mm-hmm.
So a couple of questions from me. Just so I think we understand the model, the built form, as you were, talking about, the replicable designs, the pre-built aspect of this. This is very much aligned with our investment policy framework. We do, and when we talk about modern methods of construction, it's not all modular. We have a very broad range of definition when we talk about modern methods of construction. So what you're describing fits really, really nicely in there. And I think the fact that you're talking about mid-rise buildings, like there's just a lot of opportunity for you to incorporate panelization and off-site built components, which is very helpful. The other piece that I just wanted to maybe make sure I understand correctly, so you identify lots that can fit within your
Yes.
design aspects, and do you also look at and I know again for this specific project that you talked about, there were aging residents that wanted to come back to the same neighborhood. Is that part of the broader model, or are you
100%.
just gonna look
No,
at
no.
it? Okay.
No, our aim is the older folks that are being gentrified, like they are being thrown out of these places. They can't afford to live in Toronto anymore.
Yeah, they're on fixed income.
They are fixed income,
Yeah.
and they actually help because now they're living in the property. If a tenant is not behaving, they will be the first ones to tell us and say, hey, this guy, because we also look after that for them.
Yeah.
We also do the property management for
Because
them.
like the way
So
that's
a piece that can we just focus on before we lose it? Is the operating model also where you are the property manager,
Absolutely.
guaranteeing sort of the
Absolutely.
affordability and the maintenance?
Absolutely, because don't forget, we leave money on the deal. 5 nights we leaving $1,050,000 of our own money because that's how much equity was needed to make the deal. And that is also a prerequisite every time because in order for us to leave our money there, we need to know that the property is being managed
properly.
Yeah.
professionally.
Because we need it. We want it.
And
Yeah.
that is a prerequisite even with CMHC. For CMHC, I stay on the hook because most of these people's net worth doesn't qualify for the
Mortgage.
So basically, so for this example, you paid the $1 million in land to the owner, to the previous owner. You relocated them to a new location
Yes.
during the construction,
Yes.
and then they come back and they will rent a unit, one of those 6 or 7 units from you
Yes.
for duration, and then they sign a lease agreement, basically.
Yes, for
with you.
$1,300.
Okay.
Yep.
Yes.
And then
Okay.
And then then we create a limited partnership. Okay, and they own, let's say, 70% of the units in this case, and we own.
Oh, so tell us about that. Okay, that I don't think was clear.
Yeah.
Tell
So
us about that structure.
well, we need a structure where both can own. So the property transitions into a limited partnership, And in that limited partnership, that's a limited partnership that then gets the mortgage, the takeout mortgage from CMHC. We, in this case of Five Night, we own 30% of the units, and the homeowner owns 70% of the units. Why? Because we have $1,050,000 and they have $2,450,000, which is really more than 2 times what that lot would have been worth on the open market. Why? Because now we are treating this as a commercial property. So we, for every door that we create, we say it's $375 in land value. And that is also a standard that we apply. So we have a lot of check marks that need to be done. All the legal work is included in our CCDC2 contract as well.
And then another thing I'd like to add that we haven't touched on is, since we're the builders and we're also the owners, Tarion doesn't want to warranty this, but that's fine, because us as a builder, we provide a full 10-year warranty that's over and above what we believe Tarion requests in their own warranty.
In 30 years of construction in Toronto, and we've built
And Oakville.
And I've built well over $1 billion worth of construction projects. I'm very proud to tell you, you can check with Tarion, we've never had one
Claim.
I mean, we've had issues, yes, homeowners come to us and we fix them right away. We're very proud of that. And we do give a 10-year warranty, especially on this, because people will say, and this is the problem we had with custom homes initially. We were doing them in 90 working days, basically 5 months. And people were saying, Jesus Christ, are you guys gluing this together? And we're not. The houses are still around.
Yeah.
They some of the best houses around.
They're-
Oakville has huge problems with basements and water. And the fact is, none of ours have ever had any of those problems.
They built 100
So that's when I decided I'm just going to give everybody a 5-year full warranty from top to bottom. And in fact, there's been resale homes in the $10-12 million range where the homeowners have lived 7 years and they've done all the maintenance properly. And when they put it up for sale, we offer free of charge an extra 1-year warranty.
Yeah, extended
For
warranty.
extended warranty.
Let me try and see if we understand that. So, you create a limited partnership
Yes.
with the landowner,
Yes.
30%, 70%.
Yes.
And is that during construction, or does that survive the construction? Like, what happens after construction is done and the previous owners are now a tenant of yours? Like, what happens to the LP?
It stays.
It stays, yep, and they own it.
It stays, and they are welcome to buy us out anytime.
Yep.
But without that LP and without our being there, they would never even qualify for CMHC financing because their net worth just doesn't qualify.
So is there any covenant or the like that guarantees affordability through the post-delivery phase? So if they can buy you out,
They
affordability preserved?
It's preserved with the
rent.
CMHC mortgage.
the CMHC mortgage. If they
Deviate from that affordability aspect, then they lose the
they
mortgage.
lose the mortgage altogether.
They're very strict about it. Even like the homeowner, like you can't even have the homeowner's name on the lease. It has to be their husband or wife or someone like that that's not directly on title.
not on title, but part of the LC.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay, I think we're gonna need a little bit more information on this, in very, like in details, right?
Sure.
Just because, so I'll, like, I think I understand the construction concept quite well. I think on the transaction, the land transaction, the legal structure for the land and for the assets when they're created, and then on the kind of an ongoing basis. So, and again, we understand that, the mortgage comes with affordability requirements, but I think I see there's just a little bit of tension here, right? You're also gonna stay on as the property manager, so we need to understand your experience and your qualifications for the operation side. I think on the construction side, we understand it, and then like what are the terms in that agreement between you and the previous property owner, basically, right? In terms of the ability to take the other party out, in relation to your mortgage, and if there's a takeout financing coming in at some point, like what happens at that point? So I think we just need to wrap our head around the model from the legal perspective, and I think we just need to understand that a little bit better.
Sure.
If I
So
can suggest, I would say use your project at Five Night as your example of like, be very explicit about how it is working there, how it has worked, and sort of what the future looks like, and what your guardrails are in when it's built and people are occupying, how a sort of affordability is preserved, how the depth of affordability you're demonstrating is preserved, and how you have a covenant around warranties that we could say is replicable to Tarion, because Tarion is the gold standard. And so if you are operating outside of it, we will need to understand how what you were providing meets that threshold, that it will survive and be a project that, does not have the faults of the 90s.
no, so we more than willing to share with you all the legal work, all the legal documents. We work with KPMG Law, and we work with Weird Folds, so these are all big companies. I can tell you throughout these 4-5 years, just in legal fees alone, and it wasn't to fight anything, it was really to set up the structure properly. Just in that alone, we spent over $600,000.
Fair.
So
No, and we're not in any way saying that you
no, I understand. I completely
we just need to
understand.
get our heads wrapped around.
Of course, you need to do your proper diligence. Yeah.
If I could also ask then, because it looks like you have a successful model.
Mm-hmm.
So my understanding from your initial proposal document was that you were looking to us as potentially like a construction facility, like a revolving door where equity goes in to be able to enable the next suite of projects. Like, is that still the request?
Yes.
And so I think what we would ask then is just as you work on explaining the model that you have in terms of operations, if you can put a little more words into exactly what you're thinking that facility will work. Like you've highlighted that you could do up to 54 homes a year. Like I think with Mercedes, we're gonna look at this as a pipeline proposal or a portfolio. So we'd like to understand what is your pipeline, like what are the sites you have sort of targeted, like what is the use of the funds for, because the way in which we look at these things is based on like how can you do what you're saying and stimulate the ecosystem of development and construction, how can you push this forward, but what is the money ask of us going to be applied to, and how is that going to work to come back and then be redeployed. Like the goal of Build Canada Homes is to be financially independent within 5 years. So our goal is to be investing into projects of this style, but it can't be a loss leader. It has to be something that starts to demonstrate that there is a return where our money can come out. We traditionally want to see our money out no later than 10 years, but for a project like this, if you've got the speed and scale, the sooner you can take us out to replace us with MLI Select, the sooner you can take us out and put us into another project, the better. So we need to understand your pipeline in, I think, more detail of how will this actually be an engine that gets going, and how are you going to secure sites? And if this is a proposal that only works in Toronto, or if this could work in Mississauga or Brampton or Pickering, that would also be very helpful, because our job is also to stimulate housing starts and the economy of development across Ontario. So understanding your own capacity and your ability to push this model out, if the model is something that will pass sort of the test we need to see it, can it survive the stress of it being much more small scale than the traditional operating models we're working with? Like that is what we kind of need to get into, is a bit more of the brass tacks of like, what is your construction program going to look like and your operating program? Because like I think you're doing a very, very intriguing thing here, but what is also your plan to scale up if you have suddenly 6 sites and you are the property manager and developer? Like, how are you going to manage 6 sites while also having a construction portfolio that you have to keep going?
Yeah, absolutely. And we will give you all that. For example, one of the things that we're looking at is licensing other builders as well. And treating this more like we call it the McDonald's of affordable housing, because the whole system is really set up. Our operating manual is 400 pages. We have software that we're developing so that we can actually handle quite a lot of volume. The other thing too we're looking at is doing kits, so we can sell a kit to a builder and say, okay, go do your own, just as your instruction manual. As far as areas and cities, our intent is actually to just go
Across the country,
go,
really.
go across the country, forget it, and maybe later even into the U.S. and start exporting from Canada. This fits in. A great thing about North America, basically Canada and the United States. All the cities are very homogeneous. They all seem to have the same problems.
And building codes very similar.
And building codes are pretty similar. So this is pretty easy to and the companies in Alberta, they are so anxious to actually expand as well.
Yep. And one thing to note too is that, and you brought up the covenant for affordability and how that can last and survive. Carlos and I are flexible, and we would like to hear your ideas. We want to make this deal work. So if there's some type of covenant that you would like to propose that could make you feel more comfortable, we're all ears. It's not like we're shut down to any alternative ideas.
The CMHC, we've been doing a 10-year agreement with them, but one of the things we're doing now between what we've been discussing is actually go for 20 years. So as a condition on the mortgage, we together with the homeowner have to agree and sign that for 20 years we will always have one affordable unit.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
scaling is not a problem. It's something we're really looking at. That the whole idea is to turn this into a really large business.
So what I'd suggest to your comment, Alexander, is like put forward to us what you think is the most like fulsome and honest depiction of your proposal, and like put your best foot forward. We'll look at it, and I can guarantee you, like, we will not look at it as this is your this is your one and only opportunity. Like, we will review it, we will think it through, we'll come back with some comments, we'll probably bring some other people to the table. Like, when it comes to the covenant, I think like that's gonna have to be a bit of the conversation we have, and you'll have to be able to demonstrate is like how are operations going to be addressed. Like, this is, if this was, as an example, like a large format building by a traditional like developer, like, well, they would be either partnering with an established operator, or they themselves have an operational capacity, and like they're seeking their revenue in and out. But like as Mercedes said, like if there is the ability for one party to take the other out, well, how do we guarantee then that the party that perhaps is taking you out will be able to keep that covenant beyond just CMHC, because you can always replace your mortgage if you have the capacity. So
and also just have the ability to operate good quality rental housing, right? Like we like these are going to be long-term rental assets, right? So if you are now showing us, that you have the experience to operate rental housing, that's great. But if someone can take you out in 5 years, how do we make sure that they are going to be good landlords and they will have the experience, especially if you're talking about aging, individuals who are looking for a place to live themselves? Like, will they have the ability to operate rental housing for other tenants in that building?
Yeah.
So these are all the I'm not saying these are these are just the considerations that we need to work through. Like, this is not don't take this as like a negative feedback.
No.
We're just flagging things that we need to continue to work with you on.
Yeah, and these are very good
we
questions.
Have a good overview of the proposal.
This is very good.
And to be honest, a lot of this can be resolved on the operations side if you take yourselves out of the operations, bring in a property manager for each site, that regardless of who owns the assets, will continue operating, right? Again, just an idea, but like start thinking about these things, because for us, these are, and I think from your perspective too, these are homes that will be around for years and years and years. And we want to just make sure that on an ongoing basis, affordability aside, just property standards, all of that is going to be secured in place.
So Mercedes, right now, I sold two buildings. So I sold the Western Road and I sold Lawrence. Because when I say I sold it a few years back, because I wanted to focus strictly on this. I like to be focused. My daughter was running the property management, and since we don't have a big portfolio right now, she's working for
She used to work at Signet, and
Signet, and she manages 1,500 apartments. So she's got 5 property managers below her. Right now, we are actually using the services of an outside property management company because we don't have the time. B, we want it done properly. The idea is once the portfolio really grows, then she will come back into the family and run the property management. So that's where we are
Again,
today.
it just like paint that picture for us, right? So we're having this conversation,
Yeah.
but like we just really need to understand this from like the model from start to
Mhm.
finish, ownership, development, operations, financing, like all the parties involved, what are the legal structures that are in place or will be in place, what are some of the covenants. And again, when I talk about covenants, it's not just about financing, it's about just maintaining affordability. So just help us understand that, put all of this information and your thinking into writing, so that then we can actually start reviewing it, providing feedback, asking more questions. We need to bring our investment team into the mix, our modern methods of construction to the mix, our legal into the mix, so that we actually can review this in its kind of full
Mhm.
picture.
Yeah.
Before we can even like start talking, to be honest, about the financial ask.
Sure.
Right? So
Yeah.
financial ask aside, like structure, it has a lot of good elements. Just help us connect the pieces around
Absolutely.
kind of end-to-end process.
Yeah.
Okay. That's great.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
do you feel like you have enough to kind of take it from here and put some of the additional pieces together?
Of course. And then if you feel that you need more, just let us know.
yeah.
For sure. Yeah.
We'll review what you send through, and I know we've given you a lot, so if perhaps you could try to synthesize as much of it as possible by end of month, like feel free to, you have now our contact information, like please reach out just directly to provide that through. You don't need to resubmit more through the portal.
Okay.
You can put it directly through to me, and then I will review. As Mercedes said, I will bring more people to the table to look at these materials, and then if we need something, like I will be in touch with you. But like, you have a very intriguing sort of proposal, so like we are interested in seeing how we can look at this as a pipeline for a construction activity, but we'll need you to help us really get into the understanding then of like everything Mercedes said, and who are the suppliers, and like what is their capacity to service your pipeline, and how does your pipeline unfold. Like think of it as you've given us the initial pitch, and now we just need to figure out all the details to see if this is like worthy to go to the Dragons.
Okay. Excellent.
Great.
You look at a lot of proposals. How does this look, just as a matter of interest, compared to a lot of the other stuff you see?
Every proposal is unique and
Yeah.
different, so unfortunately none two are the same. Like
Yeah.
you're very different from some of the other stuff we're working on, but again, we're saying we'd like more information. So
absolutely.
treat that as we are interested in more information, which is sometimes different than what we were telling some people on these calls.
Okay. Absolutely. Thank you. And
Excellent.
yeah, thank you,
And
and
thank you
very,
so-
very nice
Right
to
on
meet you
time.
both.
Yeah, thanks for both of your times
Yes.
today. We really
Thank you.
appreciate the call.
Absolutely. Have a great day, and hopefully we'll hear back from you soon.
Same to you.
Sounds
Thank
good.
you.
Thank
Have
you.
a nice
Thanks so
weekend.
much. Bye now.
Bye.
Bye. That's good.
Better than good.
Hmm?
Better than good.
Yeah.
In my opinion, we just basically got our money.
Yeah.
Well, they want, in my opinion, they want to know just a small handful of things. They want to know how many.
Did you tape it?
Yeah.